Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosensia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundWeb Studios. Visit our line at soundwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. SonicWeb Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even 11 endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, M&M's. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, Bird Worldwide, Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and the YouTube channel as well. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia and check out his great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles, and great merchandise, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, goodies, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Also, don't forget to donate to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Anchor FM, as well as PayPal. And make sure you donate generously today. We're here with a terrific couple, and this lady is the founder of the Chateau and also Cat Girl magazine, which is a perfect combination and dedicated cat girls and the kitten play lifestyle. And also, she's a host of the Honor Hourglass with Isibella, which is available on Spotify. And of course, features the best of the kitten girls with photos, reviews, articles, their own profile, and provide a safe playground where they can be empowered, confident, and expressive in a perfect environment. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studio somewhere in their beautiful chateau, the wonderful couple of the Chateau, also Cat Girl Magazine, and also the host of the Hourglass with Isibella. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful duo of Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good evening.
Hi.
It's an
Nice to be
absolute
here.
pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Well, it's a great honor to have you guys as well, too. And Isibella, you're the founder of the Chateau and also Cat Girl Magazine, dedicated to cat girls and the kitten play lifestyle. You're also host of the Hourglass with Isibella, available on Spotify. And also, Michael, you're also a partner in this as well, too. And we'll talk more about that. And of course, your amazing, product as well, too. And before we get started and all that, guys, tell us how I first got started.
So I first came up with the idea several years ago. Now, I was originally living in England, in the UK. I ended up moving to the US. But while I was in the UK, I saw a lot of very beautiful events. And there were a lot of kind of, especially in London, we had a lot of beautiful fetish events, actually, of costumes and masquerades and really fantastic, beautiful dress-up events. And I thought, those are fantastic. And when I moved to America, I first moved to Colorado. I'm in Asheville right now. But first I was in Colorado, and there weren't too many events like that around for people like me who wanted to kind of dress up and express themselves. And so I thought, well, no one else is really doing it on this level at time. It doesn't hurt to try. And so I ended up throwing a few events with a great nightclub with Soko out there and Church Nightclub. They're great people. And the events were successful. We did a couple of masquerades. They were very popular, and it kind of led into the idea of like merging fashion and fetish in a mainstream acceptable way that was still beautiful and extravagant. So I kind of put all those ideas together. And that's around the time I made the website. Actually, before the Chateau magazine ever even existed, I started with a website called www.kidandplay.net. And that was like a little community website. See if anybody else out there was kind of into the same lifestyle that I was into, because it didn't previously exist. And I was lucky because a lot of people actually ended up signing onto that website to the tune of thousands of people. I was like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Other people want to express themselves through events and magazine stuff. So I thought, why don't I create this online magazine called The Chateau-Cat Girl Manor? And it will be very Playboy-like. As I say, the predominant difference being that, Hugh Hefner was a guy who made Playboy kind of for a male gaze and male audience, still amazing articles and things and political. Yeah, great. It was a great thing for its time. The difference herein is that, this was a magazine created by women, kind of for women, as the predominant force there.
That's really interesting. And it was a one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And I think for this, if there was one moment in time that I could characterize, I think it was just, being in England, seeing all these fabulous costumes and being so inspired by it and being like, I would love to have a magazine. I'd love to have something that's like Vogue, that's mixed in with something that's fetish. So it's still taboo, but it's still mainstream. So it's like on that cutting edge. And I liked playing with that line and kind of engaging with that. It was very fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, what inspired you to go the route of the cat or the kitten as well?
I think what inspired, do you ever see Batman?
Oh, yes. I think the Adam West version. I'm going to go way back in this one. I apologize for dating myself. It's a way back. Adam West and Burt Ward. I remember those campy days.
Oh, yes. You remember the villain Catwoman, right?
Oh, yes. I think it was Eartha Kitt, Julie Newmar, and what was there a third Catwoman in this one? Halle Berry doesn't count. It's like she did not want that role.
There is another. I don't know.
Eartha Kitt's hard to follow.
Eartha Kitt's the one I always predominantly think of, as the quintessential Catwoman. But, so you've got this person, she's dressed in this, latex catsuit, and she's embodying all of these feline qualities. And for the time, it was still very sexy and powerful. She's an empowered, even though she's a villain, she's still an empowered woman, and she's doing what she wants to do as a jewel thief or whatever she fancies doing. And that was always very impactful. That coupled with the culture in Japan at the time, and this is the early 2000s, there was a lot of anime, and they had Neko girls, which were like the kind of cat girls of the cartoon world. And those two things combined, I thought, well, Playboy's got the bunny girls, and the rabbit is obviously its own iconic image. But I was like, there's something very sensual about the feline quality of the cat girl. And there's something very beautiful. That's why we see it time and time again, I think, in our media, and it's a very playful, it's like a tip to the hat in a way to that. So yeah, that's where that came from.
And I know are you also a cat owner as well too, or a cat lover?
It's funny, I've had one cat in my life. I had a tuxedo black and white cat. His name was Romeo. And he lived to be 20 years old.
Wow, 20 years old? Exceeded the 9 lives by infinity or sevenfold.
Yes. And, after I lost that's a cat I grew up with in England, after he passed away, I actually never owned another cat again. Not one. Because for me, that was my cat. But I do own birds. It's funny because I think, why would a cat girl not own birds? It's like it's funny, I said this on a documentary, but it's very true. It's like the Tweety Pie,
Yes, I remember that. Sylvester.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one. It's like, if I get bored of Tom and Jerry, I'll go Sylvester and Tweety. And if I don't, I'm sure I can find something else.
Yeah. Did you like those original cartoons?
Oh my God. I love those cartoons. Back in the 60s and 70s growing up, I had a guest on the show who's a ventriloquist. And we talk about the days of early ventriloquism and also the cartoons from the 60s. Like you had the Mighty Mouse, you had the Mickey Mouse back in the early days, Tennessee Tuxedo, Underdog, and then Scooby-Doo and all that. So it's like, and of course, Bullwinkle's my favorite. It's like, I understand the political part, but it's like, you watch, Moose gets bonked, Rocky runs into a tree, or, Boris, what are you doing? Natasha, boink. Or get blown up. It's like, I still say it.
Looking trouble for Moose and Squirrel.
Oh, yeah, you got to get Moose and Squirrel. And we got to get those kitty cats as well. Right, darling? That's everything we do now.
Stuff as well, we're a big fan. Growing up in the UK, like Danger Mouse, that was...
Oh, God, Danger Mouse, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, you know something? We had kids, as young as 5 and 7. We live in Chicago. We happened to run across some Danger Mouse at a library, and they're like, "What's this?" They're like, 5-10-minute cartoons. Oh my God, those kids ate them up. It's like, Danger Mouse was great. What are you doing there, Mr. Frog?
That's just good.
Baron von Greenback. Yeah, great.
Yes,
great.
that's right. I could see that. I'm going to get that kitten right over there. You watch me. I can't remember who his sidekick was. What was his name?
Penfold.
What was it?
Penfold.
That's it. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's been like, what was it? Like 10, 15 years since
they made a new one.
They made a new one. I think the first run, it hit the US probably about 83, 84. I don't know. I don't know when, but then the second one just came out, 2-3 years ago?
The second one is really good. If you've not seen it, it's kind of actually designed for adults, I believe. You can catch it on BBC and stuff, but I will say it's very good humor.
I do have to say this, is that we did catch the second wave of Danger Mouse, and, the kids love that as well, too. I'm sure there's probably like Adult Swim-esque or anything like that. Some people get to understand. And Isibella just wanted to, I was just thinking about, you've been living in England for quite some time. What inspired you to go from England over to the U.S., and especially you end up, especially in North Carolina?
This is a great story. Mm-hmm. It's a long story, but it's a great story. I'll try and shorten it here.
Buckle in.
We got some time.
So originally I was in the UK. I was actually at university, and I was studying Egyptology specifically. I wanted to be an Egyptologist, think like Indiana Jones. That was my passion growing up, and kind of what I was fascinated by and very much wanted to do. At the same time, going back and forth to London, so I was at Winchester University, quite a distance, but I would still I'd go to Camden Market. Those of you that don't know who are listening, it's kind of like the alternative goth range punk. It's traditionally more punk rock and roll market of London. Like Amy Winehouse is very famous. She used to love it and go there all the time. And I actually, would go there on the weekends and do that and dress up and meet friends down there. And that was right around the time, I kind of discovered the whole fetish scene there. And I did have this kind of crossroad moment of what it was that I wanted to do with my life. And at the time, I met a gentleman, not the gentleman I'm with now, I might point out. Different gentleman. And he lived in America, and he and I had a long distance relationship for roughly a year or so. And I ended up moving to the United States. And at first I was, because I knew it's such a big jump, because all my friends and family were still in England. And so it was a bit of a jump there. But, I will say America has been an incredibly welcoming and friendly place. Like, I've learned so much from the people here, and I very much am at the point now, having been here, 16 years at this point, 16 years, that I absolutely love this country and the people here. So I ended up moving here, and that was right around the time there wasn't so much Egyptology going on here, let me tell you. And so I ended up focusing on events because I loved event planning. So I started with the events, moved into the magazine, which picked up, and then predominantly ended up focusing on that. And that's still what I do today, is events in the magazine. That's just what my passion had me.
Oh, that's so amazing what you're doing, Isabella. It's just perfect to say when it comes to the cat and everything else. So, all right, we have Michael as well, too. Michael Corvus is also a partner in crime and also helping out Isabella as well, too. And Michael, tell us how you got started.
Oh, really? I'm more or less just kind of her sidekick on the podcast, and
he's my pencil.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the pinfold to her danger mouse, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, Funbelt. I'm gonna get that. Oh, we gotta get Dr. Frog in there. We're gonna be on that podcast. They're trying to blow it up.
Oh my God! Anyone who's from the UK who's watching us will love. All the Americans are gonna be like, "What?" Anyone.
So when I was a kid, I was watching Danger Mouse when they were doing the thing over there, and then that led into a series of other Britcom.
Yeah, go into your background. Like, tell us about, because actually Michael has a background in radio as well.
Oh, really? What stations did you work at, and how? And also, where did you work at, and how close were you, working with the BBC or Associated?
Oh, okay.
This is America.
Yeah, none of the above. I'm an American. I fell ass backwards into working in radio when I got out of the Army. I kept harassing the promotions director until he gave me a job because I always wanted to be in radio, and so he started me off and was like, "Okay, fine. Hand out T-shirts," and then next thing I know, I'm the event coordinator, then the promotions director, then the marketing director. Oddly enough, I was only on air maybe a couple of times, but I made everyone else look good while they did their job sounding good. So that was my thing. Then I went on to go be an interactive director and play with the web stuff on that, and then kind of faded off into the realm of my own marketing firm for a few years.
You ended up with me. We met about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now just running an event in New Orleans.
5 now.
Yeah, we run a New Orleans Vampiric Masquerade out there, which is New Orleans is a beautiful city. I could do a whole podcast on that alone, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But we met out there and met 4 years. And recently I only moved in here to Asheville. How long ago?
About this time last year, February.
Wow. So I've only been here a short time, but I will say I'm loving Asheville. I think it's a beautiful city.
It is. If you have the time and opportunity, I highly recommend you come and visit.
Yeah.
We certainly will do so. I'll talk more about the Chateau, also the Cat Girl magazine and the podcast and more with Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus in just 1 minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-ring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 30 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and more, Amazon.com. Check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas like T-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, and also great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles and more, Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Also, don't forget to donate to The Mike Wagner Show generously at themikewagnershow.com. Also on Anchor FM and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific duo of Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus of the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine. Also, she's a host of the Hourglass with Isibella, available on Spotify here on The Mike Wagner Show. Isibella, let's talk more about your chateau as well, too, and maybe just a bit more. And it's not just a place where you just living like Hugh Hefner, you also have an opportunity, like say with, just being around people and just empowering. And, how does one get to be in the Chateau in the first place?
So, as we say, Chateau predominantly is an online magazine. So, if you want to apply to it, how you do is you go to www.thechateau.org, and there's actually a model application form for the magazine online, and you can fill that out. Roughly, we get around 900 applications a month. We go through that. It's about a 48-hour process, and we pick roughly, anywhere between 5 to 10 girls per month. And then those models move on and they get to be in the magazine, submit photo sets. And it's not just like a local thing structured to a house. It's like, these are international models. We have currently over 400 models worldwide. Mm-hmm. We have models in Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Paris, London, Milan, Tokyo, everywhere. And I like having that diversity of the different areas in the world, and anyone can participate. You don't have to be in one specific area or be in the States in order to apply or be involved. And I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, the Chateau is the magazine. If you're familiar with the whole concept of Air Force One.
This is a great
right. This is a good analogy. So, Air Force One, that's the president's plane, right? That's the call sign for the president's plane. Mm-hmm. So really, it doesn't matter what plane, there's a specific plane that he gets on that's well-tooled for this, that, and the other. But basically, any plane that the president is on, is the call sign becomes Air Force One.
It becomes Air Force One.
Right. So if she's running her operations out of Paris or Denver or LA or
London,
here, London or wherever, that's where the Chateau is the magazine, and the physical locations change from time to time, but at the end of the day, it's the brand. It's the collection of people that make it the community that it is.
It's the collection of models that make it the community that it is, and that comes through the beauty and diversity of the different locations.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
like
people.
having all the different cuisines and flavors in there, of all different people and what they bring to the table. So it's less about me, as much more about the models and what they bring in for their content, and I think that is wonderful unto itself.
It really is.
And of course, I like the thing about the scratching post as well, too. It's not your typical scratching post. It's a different type of scratching post. And tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the scratching post, so here was the concept for the scratching post. So obviously, the physical scratching post, the cats have their little cool thing set up and I'll use it. But originally it was like, okay, so you've got your mainstream magazine and there are photo shoots, and they have accepted shoots per month that you could be a cover model. You could get, like, what was it they had in Playboy, the fold out?
Yeah, right? Centerfold.
Centerfold, yes. Right. These different concepts within the magazine.
I think Mike and I would probably know that.
Right, different.
We know what a centerfold is.
Yeah, right. Different era for a different thing. But it's like you have all these photo sets, and what it is the scratching posts are like where a model has something that perhaps it's not professionally shot. Perhaps it's not like done with a professional photographer, but it's still valuable and meaningful. And so it actually goes into the scratching post, where it's almost like a blog. It's almost like the section where girls can just kind of have a vlog, I guess we call it, where you can express yourself. Like, here's this, whether it's a selfie that I took on my phone, or here's my little blog about what I did when I went out today on the boat in Miami, whatever it is. They get to have a place where they can upload that content as well, but isn't on the mainstream side of it. It's like a separate section, scratching posts. Yeah. That's the whole concept of it, scratching posts. And they still
like a blog post, scratching post. Yeah. It's like, here's me, here's me flying my flag.
Oh, here's an example. It's like the diary. It's like, Dear Diary, this is the diary section for the girls. We get to know them a little bit better and see what they're doing in their day-to-day lives. And it explores them. So maybe if you're another girl watching it, you can live vicariously through that.
A day in the life.
A day in the life. yeah, that's what it is.
That's so interesting. It's not just about the girls itself, the kitten lifestyle, but of course you got some very interesting articles as well too, like with cocktails, spicing up your ramen. And of course you got the origin of the cat girl and comic book characters.
Yeah, we actually
sports and everything else. And I mean, you just got a plethora that's out there that just meets the eye.
Yeah.
Would you say I have a plethora?
Would you say I have a plethora of content?
Yeah. So here's the thing: it's like you go into that side of it, and you have all of these different topics. We don't like a lot of girls. They go into it and they sign up, and they're like, you know what? It's predominantly a model-based magazine, right? So the predominant thing is photo shoots, but some girls perhaps are not as comfortable doing that. And I'm like, we want it to be multifaceted. So it's like, hey, maybe if you don't like taking photo shoots, maybe you enjoy writing, so maybe you want to write an article and you'll still get points for that. So maybe if your strength lies somewhere else, you can focus on that and still be rewarded for the efforts accordingly. And I think there's something good to that because it allows the girls different avenues to explore versus just photo shoots, which is very traditional for magazines. Okay, if you want to write articles or if you want to make TikTok videos or if you want to go down this path of different exploration of like the blog, the vlogging, whatever it is you want to express, you can still do that effectively on the site. It's not boxed in with one category.
No, and you have some visual artists.
We do, and artists, physical art as well. Absolutely.
I mean,
like I said, cooks, recipes. You have a cocktail thing or you have a chef idea, you can put that in there as well. I like that it has different avenues.
Yeah, and it does have different avenues. I mean, I myself have always been more comfortable on the opposite end of the camera, taking the photos sometimes back in the Pleistocene era when I was doing that. So if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, then as you say, maybe you can write an article. Maybe you're a great chef. Maybe you're a great artist.
Yes.
Maybe you're a great videographer. Maybe so there's many different ways to explore your own individuality, and you afford an opportunity for everyone to have their voice.
The century of the self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's rather fascinating as well, too. In fact, every time I see an article on food, I'm hungry for one, I'll tell you. So,
right?
Oh, me too.
God, yeah, it's terrible. I will have just completed a meal and I'll read an article or watch a video on preparing a meal and I'm instantly hungry again. So it tells me I'm very much visually activated when it comes to food.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, God.
Oh,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this too. We're talking about food and everything. Let's just say I just had a regular pizza, and all of a sudden I see an article up on the website or somewhere. It's like how to make a better pizza. I'm like, oh crap, why did I do that instead of like just following the recipe on this one?
I should have read you 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Where were you when I needed you?
Yes.
Mike, so you said you were from originally in the Chicago area?
Well, actually, I was born in Milwaukee, raised in Racine, Wisconsin, lived there first 9 years in the Dairy State, lived in Chicago for 30-some years, and went to school in Southern Illinois, and came to Bismarck in 2007 in beautiful North Dakota. And coming up in 2022, it'd be about 15 years. So it's been an amazing journey, I got to say that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. When I was a mere slip of a youth, I used to live in Waukegan, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, and I think the blizzard of '79 hit on my birthday.
Oh wow!
Which is coming up in a couple of days. So this time, umpteen years ago, there was a huge blizzard where everything was locked down. More snow than you usually get in Chicago, I guess, if the stories, if the legends are to be believed. Popped around there, lived in Maryland for a little bit, and like yourself, I've been in Asheville here for over 15 years, and it's the longest I've ever lived in any one place. So, how are you? Do you like where you're at? As far as is it some place where you just don't feel like you want to go anyplace else, or were you? You done traveling or what?
Well, let's just say it's a really safe area as well, too. My wife is up here and, of course, raised our 4 kids and a safe area and everything else. Plenty of opportunities and, cheaper cost of living. And there's a thing about radio personalities, celebrities and all that. They actually move away from the big cities and go into the smaller communities because cost of living is a lot cheaper, more opportunities, and you get more bang for your buck. And there was a big movement in Montana a while back that you had George Lucas buying all this property for his Star Wars studios because the taxes were cheap. Huey Lewis bought a huge amount of property. The taxes cheap. Demi Moore and I think Bruce Willis bought property, because it was cheap in Montana, that sort of thing. But going back to the Blizzard of 79, we didn't cry about it or ask for government help or anything. We actually made the best of it because, we enjoy it. No school. Yay. And here we are. You jump from the rooftops. You think it's crazy. And here it is. It's like, jump from the rooftop. You jump off a couple inches into a huge snowbank. We'd slide from there. And some people would actually build snow tunnels, igloos, and one guy that I know actually built a bobsled run, which runs through the backyard. We feel like Jamaicans running through it. So
cool runnings. Yeah.
Cool runnings, yeah, man. And of course, beautiful Waukegan, there's the Jack Benny Theater. That's always a staple.
Oh, Jack Benny. Wasn't he a gem? Oh,
he was a ham. I'll tell you that. He was such a ham. So
I'm British. What's a ham?
It's me me when I'm in my cups. Somebody that really plays it up to the camera or the mic or anything else.
It's like a positive kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you deliver it.
A ham.
So. Mm-hmm. And you guys do a great job as well too. So and of course, how does one join the Chateau? How does one to apply? And where can we find the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine?
So here's the ways you can do it. The main way is to go to www.thechateau.org. You'll see there's a little model application button. It's usually on the top right-hand side of the website. We ask some questions, and it's not just like the photos. It's not just visual. It's you have to provide 4 up-to-date photos that are currently modern and where you're at right now in your life. But it also includes stuff like, why is it that you want to join the Chateau? And a lot of people ask me about this. They're like, what do you really look at when you're narrowing down these applications? And I actually always look at this paragraph of why it is you want to be a part of this community. And sometimes some girls will do, I'm not kidding, they'll do essay length writings in here. And some of them are really beautiful. It's like stuff why they want to be involved in this, how it's inspired them, and how they believe it can help them in their career or whatnot. And I go through those very carefully. There's also an education component in there as well, and what you want to do in the future, what you would like to be or what you're doing. And I like that we have people from all walks of life, honestly. We have everything from people who are morticians, who are models, to people who are vets. Mm-hmm. And of course, professional models as well. We even have some Playboy models in there as well. We have all sorts of things from different backgrounds. I like that. I like having a diversity of not just the jobs as well. There's there's something of everyone. Everybody's welcome in that world. And I think that is good.
That is very good.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, that is very amazing as well, too. And of course, not only they run the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine, also Isibella is the host of the Hourglass with Isibella on Spotify. We'll talk about that in just 1 minute. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the wonderful duo of Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus of the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine and the Hourglass with Isibella after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey, everybody. everybody. My name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus here on the Mike Wagner Show. Isibella is the founder of the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine. And Isibella, you're also the host of the Hourglass with Isibella, available on Spotify. And tell us more about that. And Michael, feel free to join in.
Oh, yeah. So I will tell you this, like my favorite thing, until things I'm doing right now in terms of projects, etc., is definitely the Hourglass Isibella, which is the podcast. And what I like about it is, as you know, you might know, we've gone through a pandemic recently. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So it was something to do in the quiet hours that started off as a bit of a hobby, but actually became a bit of a forerunner for what we now do predominantly. And what I like about it is a lot of podcasts have a niche topic. So it'll be like, okay, this is a cooking podcast and we can discuss recipes. You know, or this is a celebrity podcast and we're doing interviews with different celebrities. What I like about our format is that it's dedicated to a huge variety of topics. There's no singular kind of...
The art of the random, yeah.
The art of the random. So we'll have stuff we'll talk about like the Titanic, you know, on one episode. And then the next episode we'll have like an interview with a mortician.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A Deaf Doula. We talk about Deaf Doula. And then we'll talk about Star Trek or Star Wars, and we'll just jump around from topic to topic, you know.
And I noticed you got some interesting ones like Dexter, the TV series, stalking, hunting, vampires. And the funny part is I don't say anything about cats, though.
Yeah, that will come. I mean, I think it would be too stereotypical. I'm very British, so sometimes if I go out, I'll be like, I don't want to order a tea somewhere because that seems stereotypical to the personality. British person ordering tea, you know. So I have done it many times, unfortunately. But likewise, when I did a podcast, I want to make sure this was separate from that persona while still being part of that world, where it was like we were discovering different topics, but there's more, like being a bit of a historian or archaeology. There's so much in the world to talk about, and why should we all not learn and explore that together is a good thing unto itself. But yeah, we have these different topics, and I like having different guests because sometimes I don't know about the topics. So I'll invite a guest in and they're like, oh, I'm going to talk about manufacturing. And I know nothing about it in apprenticeship. And they talk about it and I learn through them because of the podcast. So that is a learning experience unto itself.
Well, what's the phrase? The best way to learn is to teach. And I think podcasts, especially if you have a multidimensional format, it gives you an opportunity to not only learn yourself, but also share that knowledge. And I think we're all bobbing around on this planet, and we all have different pockets of knowledge and different experiences. And the more opportunities we can present to share things, share knowledge, share experience, it just makes for an overall better, well-lived life.
Yes. It also, I think, gives the guests the ability to talk about something they're interested in. So it's not just like, here's this topic that we're forcing down your throat. It's like, what would you like to talk about? And if they're really interested in something, they can be like, well, hey, I'm really interested in trains. I'll be like, I know nothing about trains, but let's talk about that because I want to hear you be excited about this topic and get into this. And so everybody wins from that. And if somebody is like, well, I don't like podcasts, just look through the list. look at the different topics and see if there's one that catches your eye, if there's one that catches your fancy. And usually there is. Yeah. And that's what I like about it. And you talked about Dexter. So, because we just did that one on Dexter. Have you perhaps been watching, have you seen the new Dexter they just came out with?
Not as of late. I've been busy with my program and everything else. But since you reminded me, I used to watch the old Dexter, which is really good. I'll check out the new Dexter after this one, too. So thanks for the reminder. I'll check that out. This sounds rather interesting.
Yeah, it's called Dexter New Blood.
New Blood.
New
Blood, okay.
Yeah, New Blood, because it's new. It's a new show, right?
And we're probably going to do another podcast.
We're going. We did our podcast. A lot of people watched it, and the series wasn't finished. So now we have to do a second one.
Yeah,
discussing it, just to wrap that up neatly. No spoilers there. No spoilers, but yes. That's going to happen.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the podcast goes, like Mike, obviously you've got, hundreds of episodes in the can. And so is there anything more enjoyable than to find somebody talking about something that they're passionate about? Like, I might not know anything about welding or being a death doula or the Titanic, but if you find these people that are subject matter experts or really passionate about something to do, whether it's, being a bartender or owning a restaurant, or boating,
or
history,
being on radio,
or whatever, you can. That enthusiasm, it permeates. It comes to the mic. It comes out through the speakers, and really, the podcast pretty much just becomes a vessel for other people's enthusiasm. So you find people that are passionate about what they want to talk about. Give them a platform and let them talk about it. We learn something. The audience is entertained, and everyone gets to learn something. And I think that's one of the more beautiful things I've been a part of.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds rather amazing too. And also, I've learned a lot from you guys, and I'm very thankful for you guys as well too. I learned a lot from you, and also just another thing as well too that. You had covered a number of topics, as we talked about. And what was the most unusual topic you had covered, and what was probably like the most popular or like the most interesting that you've covered? Maybe start with like the most unusual.
Okay, this is a great question. I will say the most unusual had to be the deaf doula. And the deaf doula, for those of you that don't know who are listening, a deaf doula is someone who... It's medical and it's spiritual. So it's someone who comes in at the end of your life and they assist you through that process. So it's someone who says like, hey, let's sort out funeral arrangements together. Let's figure out for the family how this is going to work after you pass, and teaching people not to be afraid of death, knowing that if somebody dies and there is a corpse involved in the situation, you don't have to immediately jump to take action. You can take time with that correctly. That's actually it's a spiritual thing that they teach you. And it's fascinating. My friend Angel, she actually took a course in being a deaf doula, which is what that podcast is dedicated to. Wow. And it's a very emotional job. And every day, it's like your job becomes helping these people through the process of death and normalizing that. And I don't know have you ever seen the TV show, The Midnight Gospel?
The Midnight Gospel. That sounds familiar, but I can't think... What decade was that? Like 70s, 80s?
This is right. This is very modern. This was on
it was on Netflix. Yeah.
And this chap, like, he goes through and talks to different people in podcast format, but then they animate it on top of that. So it's a cartoon format and it's the cartoon randomly is unrelated to the podcast, which is funny.
Tangentially related.
Oh my gosh!
And that's Dan, right? Yeah, I'm pulling it up on here to make sure I've got the right person here. Duncan Trussell is his name. The Duncan Trussell Family Show, which is its other podcast. Yeah, which has hundreds of podcasts dedicated to that on that channel. And so he got onto Netflix and had an animated series dedicated to his podcast. And what makes that interesting is a variety of topics. And one of them was the deaf doula unto itself, which I never had heard about. I didn't know about it. I didn't understand it. And then one of my friends independently said, hey, I'm looking into a course that is a Deaf Doula course. Mm-hmm. And so I said, wow, let's do a podcast. And we got together and we did it, and it was fantastic. So that was the strangest one because it was emotional and intense unto itself. You know, I think the happiest ones have usually been, in fact, my favorite one is actually, I think it's podcast number 1. It's a discussion about the universe. And so it's very, I don't know, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He is very much this beautiful chap who and in fact it's ongoing from the predecessor.
Cosmos, the spiritual successor of Carl Sagan, I would say.
Yeah, so Carl Sagan was like the first guy to really introduce us, and that was before my time. What was 70s?
I remember Carl Sagan.
So you guys all remember Carl Sagan?
Yes.
Yes. A beautiful, beautiful man. And I love that story about how they released a thing into space and it has all the music and all the letters involved on it, like to express what is humanity if someone else is coming in. I love that. But, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson really, in fact, I believe it was Cosmos, the show, that he actually released a new series of for my generation coming into that. So a lot of us learned about Carl Sagan through Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Really?
Yeah, for a fact. That's a fact. And I, for me, it opened a whole door. So when we did the universe episode, you know, my partner at the time, he worked for NASA and everything. So being able to talk about space and in a way that I didn't understand, but answering some of those key questions, like, why are we here? It's like the classic question of humanity, right? What are we doing? Why are we here? But what is the answers to life? And those are serious questions. And so combating and answering some of those questions were actually kind of fun.
So you just perfectly bookended your favorite and your most interesting life.
Rebirth. That's what it is.
That's right. Hit that post, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's very cool. Synchronicity.
That sounds interesting. I was thinking about the Deaf Doula, and if you're like, I can imagine Deaf Doula, you know, asking them, hey, before we go, you want fries with that?
Make it extra large, please. Why not?
Super size it, baby.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, I guess in layman's terms, a Deaf Doula would be like the equivalent of a midwife, except like on the other end of it. So
yeah, like a midwife. There you go. They're the midwives of death. That's what it is. They're a midwife. That's really.
Oh my gosh!
King of analogies. So
you're good.
It's amazing. And where can we find the Hourglass with Isibella at? Besides Spotify,
you can predominantly find it on Spotify, though I run it through Anchor, so I believe it's on Apple and all of the other things.
Yeah, right.
It's on all of the other, whatever Anchor distributes to, you can find it. I don't actually make a big deal of advertising it, to be honest. I like people to naturally find it, which they have. I'm very grateful to the large audience we have. But yeah, predominantly Spotify. That's where it lives. And thanks to Anchor for providing the distribution. I appreciate that.
Makes things a lot more streamlined.
It does. It really does. I don't have to provide the intro music. They do it for you. Like, it's so nice just to not have to worry about that. Unless I did a Doctor Who episode once, and I specifically uploaded the old 60s Doctor Who music from England and put it on the podcast. So one time.
Very good. Good.
Wow. I was gonna ask you about Doctor Who as well, too.
Ask me for Doctor Who.
Which Doctor Who was your favorite in terms of an actor? It's like, which Doctor Who was your favorite and why?
Oh, okay. This is the best question. I love this question. Okay, so my favorite Doctor has to be John Pertwee, who played the third Doctor. He is absolutely my favorite. So a lot of people listening now who are my age won't know who this is because they'll be like David Tennant, you know, the modern Doctors, and Matt Smith, etc. And they're great. I love that they've revitalized the show. But if you ever have the opportunity to watch the original canon Doctor Who, you know, like Tom Baker is your favorite, right? Isn't that? Yeah, you like it. Tom Baker's the fourth Doctor. But also like William Hartnell, who's the first. And I love that they brought, obviously not him because the actor is dead, but they brought his image back for one of. In fact, I showed you the Christmas
was
special.
Was it one of the Capaldi episodes?
It was a Peter Capaldi episode, and he brought his image back, and I loved that. So yeah, so if you ever get a moment, the third Doctor, John Burt, was amazing actor. And in fact, I'll tell you a little story here. It was this funny story. I loved him so much when I was growing up. When he died, he passed away in the 90s. I'm a 90s child. I was in school in England, and I cried all day. I was in tears to the point where the teachers took me out of school and phoned my mum and dad, my parents, and they said, well, obviously, she must have personally known John Pertwee, and she's obviously a member of his family or something. So we're letting her leave school today, in memory of his past. I never met him.
That was good. That was a good fake right there.
Oh yeah, I was like, he was my doctor. He was the doctor I grew up with, watching on these VHS tapes where you'd have to. You remember the VHS tapes? You'd stick
rewind, replay, be kind, rewind, blockbuster, all that. Yeah.
Oh, it was
now I will say the color commentary is like, if she's crying in school or anytime, it's very genuine. She's what you call a feeler. I'm the one in grade school that would have whipped up some fake tears to get out of class before 3:00.
Oh yeah,
but not her.
They were like, you're crying so much. He must have been really important. I was like, he was really important to me. This was like life-changing when he died. It's like losing my dad. And, that was how intense and emotional it was. So they took me out of school for it. And I went back, and I'll never forget that day, because my parents were like, what the hell?
Why are you here?
Why are you here now?
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
I think because he's dead, crying. Like, it was a whole thing. But he was still, will to this day, be my favorite doctor. Nobody could take his son in my heart.
I had a similar experience when Sorrel Brooke, played Boss Hogg on Dukes of Hazzard. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'll never forget. I was in 7th grade. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And of course, I wish I'd have cried if the Cubs lost or something. I could have excused myself for that, but you can't do it around World Series. They hardly were in it. But then getting back to Doctor Who, what was your favorite episode?
Oh, okay.
Can I guess? Can
you guess? Guess for me. Can you do it? This is a real moment in history.
This is a real moment.
This is going to get recorded forever in celebrity.
This is going to be kind of like the Newlywed Game.
Somebody's going to go back to this podcast 10 years from now and look at it and really...
The Van Gogh?
I do like the Matt Smith.
Right, but that's not the one. Yeah, it's not your favorite. That's my favorite.
No. I appreciate why you said that, because I love the moment where they go to the Louvre Museum in Paris and Van Gogh is dead, but they brought him back to the future, weirdly, to see his
eventual future, and then know that he would be a success.
Guess again and think electricity.
Oh, the Tesla one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jodie, who's the current doctor, she's the first female doctor, current incarnation. They did a Tesla episode, and it is so good. If you've not watched it, you absolutely must. I mean, I love Edison and Tesla independently and been a Tesla fan long before it was popular. In fact, in our recent articles and interviews, who have I said was my inspiration every time?
Tesla.
Wow.
So they bring him back. It's very akin to it's very actually, you know what? That's beautiful because it's very akin to that other episode for Van Gogh.
Same structure. And I'm sure Mike, being in radio, likes Marconi and Tesla.
Oh, Marconi, who made it?
Yes, that's right. You hit it right on the head, about Marconi. Got Marconi awards and the Marconi radio and everything. You're like, oh yeah, everybody looked up to Marconi. Every radio guy, whatever it is. It was always Marconi. It wasn't Edison. It wasn't Tesla. It was Marconi. And
but do you know where Marconi got it from?
Yes, it was Tesla.
Yes, there you go.
That's right.
That's what I love. He gave it to him happily.
And also, too, I'm going to throw this out there to you, Michael, as well, too. This may be a bit of a throwback. What was the first radio format that was ever broadcast on radio? What was the format?
Well, you stumped me. Unless it's like the old radio shows with the talk format.
Well, it wasn't a talk format whatsoever. It was. I'll throw this out there: classical music and reading the Bible, classical Bible. And then about 10 years later, they read, there was a station in New York that read a 10-minute ad for a set of apartments in New Jersey, a 10-minute ad.
Wow, 10 minutes.
God.
That seems normal now, but back then that was long.
No. A 10-minute. Okay, so forget about late night television infomercials. Okay, so radio, you 10-minute ads back then you'd have 2-minute ads, 1-minute ads, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. 15
and now 5 seconds. Get a Joe's, and then back to the music.
A bumper or a sweep or something where you get like 3 seconds, top of the hour mentions or whatnot. It's interesting, and my info is dated. I've been out of radio for 10, 12 years or something along those lines, and I know we were moving from 60s down to like 10s and 5s and whatnot, even at that time. So it's a short attention span theater nowadays.
That is how it is. It's true.
Yeah, very, very much indeed. And of course, we're faster paced and everything else as well too. And of course, we're here with Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus here in the Mike Wagner Show. Isabella is a founder of the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine, also host of the Hourglass with Isibella. I mean, just a lot of topics, and we love to have you back and talk more and everything else. And just a few more minutes here. What can we expect from you guys in 2022 and beyond?
Well, let's hope, first of all, there's no pandemic. Let's expect that for everyone. Fingers crossed. That's my number.
We're privately working on a cure. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but we hope the pandemic goes away and people can get back out and do the things they love.
Let's get back to normalcy. The number one thing we're working on right now is we're bringing back our New Orleans event, the New Orleans Vampiric Masquerade. As some of you know, unfortunately, Anne Rice did recently passed. Yeah. So we want to have a lot of stuff in honor for her there. And I think it is important to try, pandemic
notwithstanding.
Let's see how that goes, and we'll be considerate to that always. But I'm hoping it lessens by October. But that's our plan right now for the Sunday right before Halloween, is to have the New Orleans Vampiric Masquerade. It's going to be Enchanted Forest. So it'll be very fae and nymph and faun themed, and all the creatures of the forest with performances and fire and all sorts of fun things.
And lovely costumes.
And
entertainment.
Costume competitions. All sorts of things. So that's, we actually just knocked out the flyers for those. There's a bit of tension of waiting for that pandemic. So we obviously are on hold. It's like, if you have a holding pattern when you're on a flight, it's like on hold and you get in a flight.
Yeah, you got to circle the airport.
Circle over and over. Yeah. We're in holding flight pattern right now. But that's the main thing. Of course, the podcast will continue. That's going to happen. That's easy because that's unrelated to pandemic. We're releasing lots of new topics. I guess we'd love to have you as a guest on our podcast.
Yeah, you should come over and be on the other side.
Yeah, you know something? Shoot me an email, which I'm sure you guys got, and I'll be glad to get on. To give me something to talk about, we'll do so. And of course, I can hear those Saints, coming to New Orleans. Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat?
I bet I know where you got them shoes at. Yeah, so.
Who dat?
Yeah, come on over. We could do a podcast on radio and the history of radio or something like that.
Oh, yes, we'd love to have that. And I haven't had a single episode dedicated to radio yet.
Oh, you know something? Send me an email on that. And then, of course, we'll talk about off the air as well, too. We love to do so. And, just another thing, too, that who do you guys consider your biggest influences in your careers?
And it's funny, it comes back. Tesla is my number one influence in my career, which is funny because considering it's male for one thing and female empowerment, but it is very much his creativity and perseverance. And despite his perseverance, he never really made much of himself in his lifetime. He had fantastic ideas and he died fairly unknown in New York later on. But now, today, we're finally giving him recognition for the work he did. And things like Marconi, like we were talking about that. Also the X-ray. He was a fan of that as well.
And the death ray.
Remote control, the death ray, all of these things. That's why the FBI swarmed his place. I was very lucky to be able to actually go to a room that he lived in at the New York, ended up in New York Hotel in New York, surprisingly, where he loved and fed pigeons, and I love birds. He loved birds. So he's honestly, he's my number one influence in life because he never gave up. And it shows you no matter what you do in your lifetime, you may feel you've not achieved enough or you've not done enough and you're not happy with what you've done in the time you've got. But the reality is, as long as you've shared your passions and has done what makes you happy, I think that doesn't matter too much, is the moral of his story. Because he didn't get in his lifetime, and Van Gogh was not recognized in his lifetime. So there's something listeners take away from this is, you know what, don't focus too much on the likes on Facebook or how many views or subscribers you've got going on. Do what makes you happy, because that's what counts.
And don't worry about perfection. Perfection is the enemy of good.
Yes.
Do something for yourself. Don't worry about if anyone else in the world likes it.
Yes.
Just
beautiful.
Do it.
That's very true. And Michael, who do you consider your biggest influence in your career as well?
Oh, Isibella.
Stop.
And a close second, Burt Reynolds, I guess. I don't know.
Give me this. Hear me out. I want to hear it. Why would you say that? I want to hear it.
What, you or Burt Reynolds?
Me. I want to know. Why would you say that?
Well, so I don't know if you do your Myers-Briggs or your personality types or whatnot, but this one is, we're composites and opposites. She's very open and expressive, and I tend to be a little bit stoic. So, I mean, if you'd asked me what my favorite philosopher was, I would have said Nietzsche or something along those lines. As far as my career, it's a day by day thing. But there are important people that teach me it's all right to be myself.
That's really interesting. I like that. And what's the best advice you guys can give to anybody at this point?
Okay, here it is. Are you ready? Here it comes. The best advice I can give to anyone who happens to be listening to this podcast is just be yourself. Don't listen too much to the news. I read this wonderful, here it comes, a snippet. There's a synchronicity, as we call it. I got a snippet of information earlier on Facebook. It came up as a post, and there was a girl, and she was like, I wish I could do anything to make these terrible, depressing posts about the pandemic and hatred and riots and pain. I would do anything to make it go away. And I talked to my grandfather, who had lived through the Spanish influenza and the World War and all these horrible things unto itself. And I asked him, what would you do? And his response was, I never listened to the papers or the headlines. I just took my life day by day. I would create my own headlines. I'm having dinner with my wife and I love my wife. And that's what counts today. I'm doing this with my kids, and this is in my moment, and I'm not going to let outside forces influence that or destroy our lives in the process. I'm going to be happy with what I have and appreciate what I'm given in the moment. And it was such a beautiful post. It made me cry at the time.
Please share that with me, because that's kind of accidentally how I have people that share news stories or talk about this or want to read me obituaries, and I'm like, you haven't heard about this tragedy? You haven't heard about this? I don't really pay attention because it's not in my immediate sphere. So.
And I think for a lot of people, I said I was on a podcast the other day, and it was like we were talking about how the pandemic has been really hard for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I think all we want for is a better future, and that starts with us as individuals. So if you're listening to that, know you have the power to do that. It seems helpless and powerless, but it's actually not true.
No, it's actually one of the most powerful things. You actually have the power, how you interact with your fellow human beings, your fellow souls, expressions of consciousness that are floating around on this planet. And if everyone treated people the way they would wish to be treated,
the world would be a better place.
And I know that sounds trite, but there's a lot of truth in that, I think.
Mm-hmm. And rightfully so as well, too. And Michael, what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
There you go. Now it's on you.
Yeah, well, I think I covered it. Don't take the world too seriously. I mean, again, it sounds like a kind of knee-jerk responsiveness, but none of us are going to get out of here alive.
That's such a
at all. We don't have as much time as we think we do. Do the things that you want to do. when you want to do them, so long as you're not being a pain in the ass for anyone else on the planet. Okay?
Right, do what makes you happy.
Like, I really want to punch a bunch of people in the head at a theater. Don't do that. But
or what some idiot in Colorado did in a movie theater, which I'm not going to discuss.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like as long as you're not hurting anybody else, just be easy on yourself, because it's been a hard couple of years. So go easy on yourself and don't judge yourself too hard. And don't worry about perfection. Just do what you want to do. Even if you want to draw something, if you want to sketch something, you want to be an artist, it doesn't matter if it looks like a stick figure or a Rembrandt. Just make something. It'll make you happier for having done so.
Make some time for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important. I love inspiration, guys. Once again, Isibella Karnstein and Michael Corvus. Isibella, founder of the Chateau-Cat Girl magazine and host of the Hourglass with Isibella, available on Spotify here on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. And Isibella, you were just absolutely perfect tonight, and definitely looking forward to having you guys again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact, where can people, check out your works and also check out your podcast.
Thank you so much, Fred. And I will also say we've very much appreciated you taking your time with us to talk tonight. It's been wonderful. If you do want to find us and you've been listening to it, you find it enjoyable, you can find us at www.thechateau.org. It's a predominant magazine website with the applications. But you can also find us under Facebook, under The Chateau. You can find me under Isibella Karnstein on TikTok. Likewise, Isibella Karnstein on Instagram as well. But without further ado, we've very much enjoyed this. Yeah. No two ways about it.
Thank you so very much, Mike.
And you guys are amazing. Once again, a very big thank you for your time, you two. You guys are totally terrific. We love to have you back on. Wish you all the best. And looking forward to having you guys on again soon. Keep us up to date. You guys have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host, and I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing, and I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.